All right. Well, the hospitality sector has been one of the hardest hit by the coronavirus pandemic, and thousands of restaurants are still struggling to recover from the devastating economic effects of the hard lockdown and are on the brink of closure. Now, in response to this, South Africans are rallying to support the industry with the hashtag #LocalRestaurantLove trending this week on Twitter. But thankfully, though, there's also some financial relief available for the sector. The Sukuma Fund aims to provide the sector with an allocation of 100 million rand to qualifying independent restaurants. But to tell us more on this initiative, I'm now joined by Mr. David Marobe, Sukuma Fund spokesperson. Mr. Marobe, good to have you and good morning to you. We'll get to the fund in just a moment, but I mean, when we're talking about some of the smaller independent restaurants, how are they really faring during this level 4 lockdown?
Look, as per your introduction, Tumelo, it's been tough for many restaurants in the restaurant industry. I think it's compounded by the fact that prior to the whole COVID-19 pandemic, we've had very tough economic times for many people, where the disposable income has been impacted. We've had load shedding impacting most of the restaurant industry. So the COVID-19 pandemic left many restaurants that were once bustling really fighting for survival. And I think that is why we are encouraging this supporting of our local restaurant industry as the Sukuma Fund in many ways, as you would outline in our interview.
Yeah, indeed. And let's talk about it. 100 billion rand allocation, particularly, of course, to making sure this sector doesn't die down. Unfortunately, some restaurants have already closed down, some on the brink of closure. We don't want that. How is this fund exactly assisting? Where will the money be allocated to precisely?
Well, we took an approach of working with industry bodies, and in this instance, we are working with FedHasa, which is the Federated Hospitality Association, which looks at a number of the restaurants in the industry. What we looked at in engaging with the industry body is to see what are the challenges that are facing most restaurants, and most of them, it is the rental component, which they are struggling to keep up with in terms of their operating expenses, and some working capital. So with this fund, we are attempting to give each restaurant an amount of up to 1 million rands to cover those expenses and thereby save much needed jobs in this particular industry. You know, as they say, the broader industry employs up to about 1.8 million people. So through this intervention, we are trying to save jobs and keep our entrepreneurs at least having the doors open for some way or the other.
No, so Mr. Marobe, if you are giving out 1 million rand to every restaurant and you only have 100 million rand allocated, that doesn't tell me that every single restaurant, unfortunately, will get the assistance. Do I need to qualify to get the funding if I am a restaurant owner?
Yes, you need to qualify. And I said we give up to 1 million rand, so depending on what the need of that particular business is. So it's from 250,000 rand to 1 million rand, which should probably see you through the difficult times. I think most restaurants at the moment are operating at a time where curfew times are being imposed upon them, and they're not able to trade except for takeaways and deliveries to their places, and they're also stopped from selling alcohol. So through this fund, you are able to give them that little bit of an injection to keep the doors open. And as we know that many of them are operating, are struggling to operate at a profit. You would recognize, Tumelo, that most of our culture here in South Africa is to pair meals with alcohol. And in some restaurants, it is said that, the alcohol component, contributes up to 70% of the profits. And I think through this fund, we're saying those that qualify, that they have the necessary licenses, they've been operating for some time, and they can show us that they've been impacted by these curfew restrictions that are imposed upon them, we should be able to assist them.
Oh, so the clarity there being that up to 1 million rand will be, of course, provided to qualifying restaurants. What if then I am a restaurant owner who unfortunately had to close down shop? Is there hope for me to revive my restaurant, or is this only for operating restaurants?
In this instance, it is for operating businesses, unfortunately, and we're hoping to save as many as we can in this space. I think what inspires us and drives us as the Sukuma Fund is just that principle of humanity to say these businesses that are so hard hit are actually run by people, and we should come on board to try and save those entrepreneurs that are still at least struggling to keep the doors open, and also those jobs that are, or the people that are employed in those businesses to try and sustain their jobs. If they are closed already, unfortunately, there's curtains already and we are not able to participate therein.
Yeah, that's unfortunate indeed. But you know what, I'm seeing here the hashtag local restaurant love, more rallying the public as well to continue to support, restaurants as well. I mean, quite disheartening. I was reading just a couple of days ago about how, obviously they have to now go for deliveries or for collection or takeaways. And it seems the couriers that deliver the food are getting hijacked. Some of the challenges besides funding that restaurant owners seem to be facing right now. So it seems that this is not only the Sukuma Fund alone, taking initiative here. You're saying as a public, let's all rally behind these restaurants. Let's support them. Let's fight against crime because they need it at this point.
Indeed, I think it's a clarion call for all the social partners to participate in helping our entrepreneurs to keep their doors open and save those jobs that are in there. So it's not just businesses, it's a local community to support your local restaurant per se, and government to the extent that government can support our small and medium enterprises as well. We would like them to come on board to say, what is it that can be done through the UIF intervention and to keep those doors open. It's very, very unfortunate that some of them have to face an added burden of crime to their businesses where cars are being hijacked. It's very, very unfortunate. So everybody really needs to come on board. And hence we say this hashtag love your restaurant and support them is a very, very important campaign. It's a clarion call per se.
Indeed. Well, thank you for talking to us. David Marobe, Sukuma Fund spokesperson, talking to us there about the 100 million rand allocation fund with which they aim to assist restaurants with. All right, well, still to come in your